Hey, everybody. Today we have an idea from a listener, an idea that would allow you to monetize the act of discovering talent. You'll also hear Jonathan's connection to a famous cloth diaper wearing, bow and arrow firing, Cupid winged friend. So welcome to our podcast, everybody. This is The Idealist. So, Jonathan, did you ever know anybody before they became famous?
How famous?
Like, a name, I might recognize, or one of our listeners might recognize.
One of our listeners might recognize, yeah.
Okay, one. Okay.
Orange Peel Moses. I went to high school with him.
Okay, hold on a second. Orange Peel Moses.
Yep.
Okay, so
yeah.
I don't know who that is. I don't know if that means anything.
Orange Peel Moses is a performer character. He likes to wear diapers, but cloth ones, not plastic ones. He wears cloth diapers and Cupid wings. He's really busy today. He goes all over the country and delivers telegrams as a Cupid. And he's
I have
40-something years old.
Can I just say I have no idea what you're talking about.
No, well, I knew him when he was Dustin Schwartz. So if you're listening to this, Dustin, sorry that I just outed your real name, but that is Orange Peel Moses.
Okay, so how is he known? How did he make it? What's his story?
I think his first thing that was got any kind of notoriety is he got hired at a live news. It was a live newscast, and he showed up on Channel 4 News and just walked in and playing a guitar in a diaper and started serenading a guy that was sitting there and one of the newscasters. And that's where it began. And then it just kind of, a lot of people like to get him, they like to hire him for live events, like live filmed events because it's kind of embarrassing. Just picture me in a cloth diaper.
Hold on. Let me close my eyes. Okay, I'm there. I'm
showing
there.
up and serenading you.
I'm there. Yeah, I have envisioned this. Can I do my gut reaction?
Yeah.
Hard pass.
Yeah.
Hard pass.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah.
So what genre is this? Is he a comedian? Is he a comedian?
Yeah, I would say he's a performer because I think he does stuff at like Burning Man and things like that as well.
So this isn't just a regional.
No. He goes all over.
Really?
I think he might have been he was at Art Basel, like a lot of stuff like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man. So I guess
Moses.
I'm just not hip. I'm not in it. So my story of who I knew before they became famous. I went to church as a kid with Diplo. How about that?
No way.
Yeah. Yes.
Wow.
Wesley Pence is his name.
Wesley Pence.
Yes. Pence family was family friends.
Huh.
And always.
So not just went to church with, but family friends.
Yeah, our families knew each other. Yeah, they knew each other. They were friendly. It was kind of a small community. But you always knew there was something special about that Wesley. Yeah, he had charisma.
Yeah.
He had charisma. And I think he was just at the Grammys that just happened.
Yeah.
I saw him there. I think he won something. So he's doing pretty well.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah. Are you older, younger?
I'm a little bit younger than Diplo.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so if you saw him today, would you call him
Jr.
Wesley or would you call him Diplo?
Well, I'm sure if I saw him, he would first say, "Wow, Brad.
Yeah.
I remember you so fondly.
Right.
I think about you often." I'm sure.
And would he call you Diplo Jr. since you just gave yourself that nickname? Would he be like,
No. I said I'm Diplo's junior.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, I'm not his senior. I'm his junior.
Diplo Jr.
So yeah, that was mine. Yeah, good times with Diplo growing up.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, good experiences. We today are going to be chatting about kind of the discovery process, right? Mm-hmm. Of finding the talent before the talent gets big. And why don't you walk us through this one, John?
Okay. So we have a little spot on our website where you can leave a voice message if you have an idea. And this is one of the better ones that we have. So I'm going to play it for you now so you get a chance to listen to what this idea is. This guy does a good job of explaining it, and then we'll take it from there.
Great.
Hey guys, long-time listener, first-time caller. Love the podcast. Had two ideas I was hoping you could talk through. The first is some type of blend of Robinhood, GoFundMe, and music, which basically the idea is you'll be able to invest in an up-and-coming band or musician that you really like, or maybe that you discovered but just haven't made it big yet. So in the same way that you can buy stock in an up-and-coming company or buy $10 on a stock that you think you could maybe is going to take off on Robinhood, it would allow you to invest in these bands for a small amount of money. So if you're at a bar and you hear a good musician and maybe you don't have cash to tip them or whatever, you can throw them 10 or 20 bucks via this platform, and it serves as some type of investment in their future revenue. I think it would help the bands raise money if they needed to raise money. And then if they've ever made it big, you'd have some type of upside on them. Or if you're just listening to Spotify and you think there's a band that's really good and you're not sure why they're not bigger and you think they will get bigger, you can throw 20 bucks on them and participate on the upside if they get bigger. So I'm not really sure how you track the revenue. Maybe it's only if they make it to a certain level of success or album sales or something. But I would love to hear you guys talk through it. And then the second idea is a microwave that makes things cold. I'll hang up and listen.
The second one is called a freezer, right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. And we're not going to spend time on that one, but are we missing it? Or did he just drop something really brilliant?
Like a microwave that makes things cold. I think it would be more like I can put it in there for 30 seconds and it will make it cold.
Yeah.
So like a reverse microwave. So where it sucks the warmth out of something. So my mom. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Touche. Is it? I don't even know if that's even possible.
To suck the warmth out of something? Sure it is.
You think it is?
Sure it is.
I don't know.
Like,
this one's
we
interesting.
landed on the moon, man, in 1969. You don't think we can suck the heat out of something?
Yeah. Some ideas, though, they're like, wouldn't it be great if there wasn't turbulence, on planes,
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that'd be great. This falls into like the seedless watermelon idea to me.
Yeah.
It's absolutely brilliant. Of course, it would be great, but I have no idea
Right.
how it happens.
What would you use it for?
The freezer idea?
Well,
the reverse microwave?
Yeah, the reverse
microwave. So I don't know, like a putting a warm drink
like
in there.
that's the only thing I can think of,
drink
right?
in there. Yeah, I almost want to ask him more. Okay, we're not here today to talk about that idea.
That's correct.
But when you throw an idea like that out to two idea guys, it is very easy for us to get distracted. So let's talk about this discovering bands, investing in bands.
Yeah.
Why don't you start us out? What's your gut reaction on this one?
Initially, I really liked it. I think, but it flashed in my mind. I know we're going to talk about this later, but I was thinking Band-Aid, like we're
for
helping,
a name.
yeah, like we're helping out this band. But
okay. I like that.
I initially I like the idea. I like the thought behind it. I think if you're betting on a band, like when he brought up the whole tracking thing, I mean, there's massive companies like ASCAP and some others that's all they do is track how bands sell, how much they're worth, all those kinds of things, and different performers. So my initial reaction is I like it. I think it's unique. It feels like something that should be coming in this century. Like we're in the time of a lot of where we can do all kinds of group funding projects. I don't see why this couldn't happen.
I love this idea.
Wow, love.
I'm a big fan of this idea because I think it taps into something that we have all felt at some time, which is why isn't this person famous?
Yeah.
Why haven't they hit it big?
Yeah.
And there's a special kind of club-like feeling you have when a very exclusive feeling when you discover somebody that isn't big yet.
Right.
But there's no way to kind of do anything with that feeling except just kind of hold it in and kind of feel maybe superior or feel exclusive, like you're the only one who discovered them. But now there's a way to actually put some financial skin in the game. And I think that's going to work. I think people would want to do that.
Yeah.
And you got to leverage that feeling of exclusivity.
I agree. I when you said that, though, I wonder, couldn't you just sell badges? Be like, I heard them, like if you heard them in their first 90 days, you get this badge. If you hear them in their next 180 days, you get this badge.
What are you talking about?
I don't know. Just like something.
Are you talking about paraphernalia?
Yeah. Like something to say, like, I knew who this person was, like a little, like a way to show
a badge?
I was there.
Why not like
when,
a hat or a
yeah,
t-shirt
I
or
don't
merch?
know I don't know why I thought of a badge first, but yes, I like the idea
sticker?
of a hat.
You want a sticker?
Yes.
You want a sticker?
Could I have, yes.
Nice.
And I can put it on there a gold
Nice.
star or whatever.
Nice.
No, but like, there's got to be some kind of merch. But anyway, I agree with you. This is a really good idea, I think. So,
well, hold on a second. Just keep going down this road here because you have. I remember in our previous episode, you said you had run into Jewel before Jewel was famous.
Yep.
Right? I mean, walk us through that again. What was it like to hear her? I forget. Were you impressed with Jewel?
I thought she was one of the better open mic people I had heard.
And was she billed as Jewel?
Yeah.
She was?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And she had a little CDs, but they were like I think she had burned them, honestly, like herself. And she had like little cover art in the thing. And it was at Maggio's Pizza, which is just like this little pizza joint in Springfield, Missouri. I would go every time they had an open mic.
Yeah.
And there would always be, 10 or 15 people there eating pizza and listening. And
that's a perfect example of what this idea that he shared was about, was finding somebody in an obscure spot like that. You're in a bar, a pizza place.
Yeah.
And then in walks a future superstar.
Yeah.
But if you're wise enough to call it beforehand.
Right. And I think it could even happen later than that. There's a lot of people that are amazing. They just don't have the funding or the capabilities to take the next step. My brother-in-law was a singer-songwriter in Nashville for a long, long time. And I mean, he toured on buses and all kinds of things. And but that whole group of people, they're constantly trying to find capital to keep going and keep going and keep going till they get the number one or something like that happens. Like it's just this push for capital at that point. And just like any other organization or company does, there's this time when you have to have enough capital to take it to the next step. And I could totally see that, like just having the capital to do a nationwide tour.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it could transform a smaller band that's good or a smaller singer that's good. They just haven't had that huge break yet.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, why don't you take us through what we're calling the idea exploder, take us through the categories, and let's keep kind of working this one out.
So let's start with the yeah buts.
Okay.
Do you have some yeah buts for this?
For this one, I mean, my yeah buts are very, on the financial model piece, the tracking piece. How does this actually pay somebody off?
Yeah.
I don't know if there's an easy answer to that. So that gets a little bit tricky. I mean, let's say you invest in somebody and it takes 5 years for them to hit. Like, what's the mechanism for getting paid 5 years later? That seems like a little bit tricky.
I think that part of it, like that's almost any kind of investment you make. Like if you bought Bitcoin in 2009, you were waiting until 2014 to like hit it big, and you pray to God you sold then. But I think like I have a yeah but that's right along those lines, and it's like, have you met musicians? I mean, you have obviously, but most musicians aren't necessarily business people. Right there, they're in this music.
Sure.
So how? Let's just say there's these 4 garage band guys that have been playing around where we live, and we've been going out and listening to them, and we think they're really great, and they have a chance to make it, and we just get some of our friends together and decide to, give them $5,000 to enter into something.
Yeah.
How in the world are they gonna, like, they're not the kind of people that are, like you said, going to track this, but even understand, like, well, how much of our band do they get, and do we sell them rights and publishing deals and percentage of royalties and all these, because it's a very, very, very complicated world when you start talking about how people get paid out, and you're taking artists and trying to force them into being businesses. Yeah. You're just founders of
as soon as you
startups.
start taking money,
all of a sudden they're a startup.
Now, if they don't have a separate bank account, now they got to make a new one. They got to get
an LLC, all this kind of stuff.
Go through all that. So Do you think it's obviously it wouldn't be for anybody, but you would have to go through I'm imagining if you were an artist and you wanted to qualify for this, you would have to jump through
some hoops for sure
in order to get it
Yeah.
to become, I guess you would say, investable.
So we're already saying that this is like an organization, almost like a record label. It's basically a record label. It's a record label.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a record label for unsigned bands to become a part of that people put their money into, and this record label is overseeing the distribution of this money and tracking it all, because you have to have that. I don't know necessarily, they wouldn't call themselves a record label, but you have to have that governing body that oversees the money and says, okay, this is a group that's good enough to come in, because they literally are getting signed at that point. It's just crowd funded record label, maybe crowd owned, or like, what would you call that? A DAO, almost like decentralized organization, autonomous organization.
I was wondering if it was what you're setting up is essentially a fund that people invest in, and then the fund directs that investment to, through the record label or through individuals who are qualified, who have set it up.
Yeah.
But it's not so much in my mind a record label as it is a fund.
So you wouldn't you couldn't just hear a band probably and be like, oh, I want to invest in them. But maybe you could recommend them, and if they get enough recommendations, they can begin looking for it. But when I said DAO just a few minutes ago, decentralized autonomous organization, it could almost be that. It could be a group that puts their money in. They're all broken up. They get NFTs to represent their ownership inside of this band.
Okay, now we're talking.
Then they pay the band this much money, and the band produces NFTs, and these NFTs become value because they have ownership inside the band. Something like that has less corporate oversight.
Yeah,
but
it's an NFT.
It's an NFT but it's
with
governed
a smart contract.
Right, that's governed by the smart contract, and it's a decentralized autonomous organization. So that might be something that could work for a band. Isn't it interesting? What is it about musicians that I think that there's something there that we always just want to help them, right? Don't you kind of feel that way?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's this image we all have of, going, through the subway in New York City, and the musician who's incredible has their case opened up, and people are putting money into it because they're making the world a more beautiful place, and you want to help. You want to fund that. Yeah. There's something about that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Cool.
So that's.
You think that answers the buts?
I don't know. Do you have any other? I really think this is a very good idea.
Yeah.
So I don't have any major buts.
Yeah. Except the biggest one, like, how in the world is it going to be tracked? Which is like the biggest one of all. But
yeah. But somebody's got to be able to crack that. That doesn't seem impossible.
No, I do think I just have to picture it.
I think the NFT thing's a good idea.
There's an organization that is these bands apply to become a part of the organization. They have a structured way of payouts and all of that stuff happening.
But why would you have to do that if it's an NFT? Couldn't I just, as an individual artist, create the
That's another thing that you could do. Create the NFT, launch it.
Yeah, you do it. Like, why do we need another governing body?
So they could sell those NFTs. Yeah.
Just sell it. I mean, you're a proprietor that has an NFT related to your restaurant that you own. So, I mean, indulge me. That's anybody can do that, right?
Yeah. Yep. They could.
Okay.
For sure.
Is there any reason why that wouldn't be the best way?
There's no reason why that wouldn't be the best way
to do it.
The only thing is the leap that it takes for users to accept that. Like NFTs, my parents aren't going to be supporting a band anyway, but if they were, they weren't going to be buying an NFT, So like it does limit a little bit of your audience of who would do it. But I think that's the easiest way to do it. Like even just saying, hey, we want to record this album. Here's the NFTs that you can buy. We're only going to make 1,000 of them. We're going to sell them for $10 each. That'll get us the opportunity to record this album. And you may not get any investment return on that, but you might, because that NFT in itself, as they increase in popularity, that NFT intrinsically increases in value. It doesn't increase in value because they're putting money into it, but it's increasing in value because they've become more and more and more famous. Mm-hmm. And so you have this I was there when proof Only 1,000 people have this, and I was one of them that gave 10. And maybe I gave $100, so I have 10 of these NFTs, and now they could be worth $1,500. You know, who knows?
Interesting.
So you have these different levels of value of something traceable, trackable on the internet that shows I was there when I discovered them then.
Can the NFT have like equity?
Yeah.
In the upside?
It could have equity, but I'm saying even if they don't want to give away any equity, it would increase in value. You know, like I have a piece of the turf from the Dallas Cowboys stadium from 1972 or whatever, and that has intrinsic value to it just because there's not a lot of those pieces of turf laying around anymore. It would be like a trading card, like it has value because of it's their rookie card. You know, it's the rookie card of whatever band you want to choose, and you own it.
I think this is the way to go.
Yeah. I think that's really
keep going. Keep going with the categories.
Okay, so we did the yeah buts. Let's pick out some names. I threw out Band-Aid.
Oh, Band-Aid's good. I don't know if I can top Band-Aid. Let me try though.
Okay.
I'm gonna take a stab at it. ROI discovered.
Okay.
So ROI, return on investment.
Yeah.
I discovered them.
Yeah.
You know, it's that feeling.
I discovered.
Yeah, ROI discovered. Or I don't know. That might be my top one. Did you have any? And did you have another one?
The bus. I don't know why. Just like
the bus.
Yeah, like just jumping on the bus. I'm here. I don't want to do like roadie or anything like that, you know. But like jumping on the bus. I think there could be something to do with the word platinum somehow. I feel like you could turn that into.
What do you think?
I don't know. Platinus. I don't know.
Why platinum? Why
just because that's where
records,
the record platinum record or something. Yeah, something like that. Like early. But I think Band-Aid is my favorite so far.
I think Band-Aid is really strong.
Yeah.
I think that's really strong.
And then it kind of changes a little bit of what you're doing. Like you're saying, okay, I'm helping this band out. And who cares? It's $10. They make their album. But if they take off, like this $10 could become something very valuable.
Yeah. Band-Aid's the winner.
So monetize it. How do you monetize this?
First of all, what do you think the appetite is going to be on the artist for this? Like, get into the psyche of the artist. You're young, you're up and coming, you're trying to make it.
My daughter.
Okay, so put us in her shoes. Is this like, what's the financial reason she would? We're going to start talking about financial model. What would be her interest in this?
I mean, it costs her between $2,500, $4,000 to record a song.
Yep.
She writes them and all that stuff herself, but she doesn't do all the mixing. So it would help there. So someone else isn't paying for all of the recording. Also, just like she gets so excited when she gets her checks from Spotify. You know, she's like, oh, it doesn't matter if it's $13 or $70. She's excited because it's something she made that's actually making her money. So I feel like if there were a way for her to apply to she's not going to go on the internet and create an NFT. She's not going to do it.
Okay.
But if there were a way for her to apply to someone that would create this NFT, and it's just like Spotify. Spotify sits there and says, "Oh,
that's a really good idea." So you still stick with the NFT model.
Yeah.
But we create a company that figures it all out.
That does it all for them.
And it does it for Pops too.
Yeah.
Right. So Pops can still get in on this, you think, on that side of it, but he can use a middleman instead of him having to go to crypto.com or whatever it is and work through all that friction.
Yeah. So
that's a really good idea.
We create it. This company, Band-Aid, it creates the NFT, it releases the NFT, it sells it, and then it keeps a small percentage of that. Maybe it keeps 2 NFTs and some money, and then the rest of the money goes directly to the artist. And so they're just creating this place where they can make it happen. Because like I said, Hannah's not going to go online and figure out how to make an NFT and do all that kind of stuff. But if she could apply to it, and then she knew, okay, I need this microphone and this recording piece of equipment or whatever, then she could do all that herself.
The other thing for Hannah is if you get people buying these NFTs,
they're going to push it.
They are going to become bigger and better fans.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so even if Hannah gives up a little piece of the pie, now she's going to grow a fan base that really owns her music.
Yeah.
Because if you're putting your own money into it,
Right.
you love it more.
Right. And it gives all those fans that want to like be involved in some way, feel like they're involved. Maybe you get a title of producer on the, maybe that's something else
I love
on
that.
the album. You're one of the producers.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good. Could you imagine, Jewel finally hits it, big, and then
All of a sudden,
Jonathan
you go back and look
Almanzar
at one of those
on
old
the liner notes, right? That'd be super cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Aren't you cousins with Cardi B? Is that, did I hear that correctly?
I mean, Google it.
Yeah.
Google it. Yeah.
Google it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, did you make it in any of the liner notes?
No.
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 Okay. Well, maybe if you would, put a little skin in the game.
That's
She would have been really good to invest in a couple years ago.
No kidding.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, okay. Very cool. So, what's our next category?
Well, we ran through the monetization right there, right?
I think we finally landed at it. It's a company that creates the NFT platform to make it accessible for both the musician and the investor.
Right.
I think that's the way to go.
So to recap the whole thing.
Yeah.
First, thank you, Ryan, for sending in this.
Thank you, Ryan. Good job.
Idea. And even though we really liked the cold microwave.
Yeah.
This idea was probably a better idea. It'd have to be almost like a vacuum, right? That would just suck everything out of there, but then you'd lose all the water content.
You know what I appreciate about Ryan though? I felt like the time he spent was perfectly proportional.
Yeah, it was.
Like the time he spent to show us the fractional ownership in the band was like 98%
right.
of the time he took. And he spent about 2% on the reverse microwave idea. And I felt like that was the way to go.
Yes, exactly. I feel like the reverse microwave had been an idea he'd had since he was like 4 years old.
Yeah.
And this other one is a new idea that actually could work. And he's like, I really think this is a good idea, but I've always had this one since I was a little baby. And so here you go. I'm going to throw this out there.
I love how he snuck it in.
Yeah.
Nothing but mad respect for that.
So just to recap, Ryan, what we've taken and done with your idea is we're calling it Band-Aid.
Yeah.
We're creating a system that a band can, a company that a band can use to create NFTs, to create them and distribute them to their fan base to raise money for projects.
Yep.
On a limited basis.
Yep. I wish it was there in middle school. I could have seen Wesley Pence.
Would have you bought an NFT? Even in middle school, would have you bought an NFT in that guy?
Oh, on Diplo? Oh, come on, man! I knew he was going to be a superstar.
Yeah.
I don't know, but that would have been nice. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
It would have been real nice.
I mean, just think if you could have bought an NFT of all your friends, and one of them.
Yeah. I could have gotten a thank you at the Grammys. When he wins the award.
Yeah. There you go.
Thank you
Producer
to Brad
Schmidt
for believing in me, for investing in me.
When I was just little Wesley.
Yes.
Cool. He would have called you Diplo Jr. So we're going to rate this.
Okay, here we go.
But I want to rate the whole thing, not just this idea, but the whole experience. Okay. And I want you to give me a rating between a prank call from the Jerky Boys and accidentally dialing the wrong number, but that wrong number becoming your wife.
What? Okay, explain your scale. Explain. I get the prank call by the Jerky Boys. Okay.
But you just call this number and it's an accidental,
like a
providential,
lovely accident?
yes,
like a lovely accident.
That all of a sudden this person becomes your wife.
But here's the problem. Oh, they become your wife.
Yeah, you're not just calling your.
You're
not just calling up your wife. Yeah.
Got it.
Because that could be terrible if you call a wrong number and your wife answers the phone and you're like, hello.
Yeah.
No, but they later become your wife.
Okay, got it. Okay, so
between Jerky Boys and
I gotta tell you,
accidentally meeting your future wife.
I gotta tell you, this one is like that happy, joyful accident. Like making that phone call, and then the irony is it becomes your beloved. You get married, you run off together. I love this idea a lot.
Yeah.
I love it a lot. It's not an accident though. I think that's the only difference. This is actually the opposite of accidentally. This is intentional. This is you saying this. I think this is going to happen.
Yeah.
I think something beautiful and great is going to happen. And so I think it's even better.
Okay. So it's not the Bob Ross happy little accident painting.
No,
things?
no. It's
Okay.
not that. I will say though, like a prank call from the Jerky Boys, that would be kind of fun.
Yeah.
Right? Would you like that, or would you just be so?
Depends on what time of day,
time
what's
of
going on
day
in my
it
life at
is.
that moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could love it or hate
But
it.
just like to have the story to tell.
Oh yeah, that would be fun later on. But what if they did draw something out of me, some sort of anger, or like I don't have a lot of anger issues, but like if I were to get super frustrated in that moment, it could be very embarrassing.
For those of you who want to call BS on Jonathan, you can back it up just by listening to, I believe it was the Deal With It episode.
Yeah, it was the Deal With It episode.
And you can find out that
Having a
Jonathan
bad
is indeed. Yeah, I caught Jonathan on a bad day, for sure. So I think this is a great idea. I mean, how are you rating this one?
I would rate it as, not an accidental dial, but not a butt dial, but like this is how I would rate it. It is a butt dial, but it's a butt dial that goes to your wife and you're saying wonderful things about her while you're not there. So it's like you're talking about somebody and you're gossiping about them, but in a very positive and uplifting way. And there is nothing more flattering than positive gossip.
That is so good. So the wife picks up the phone. Hello, Jonathan. And just so I get the scene right, and you don't know that she's listening, but you're talking very positively about her.
Yeah, how wonderful she is. And I just,
man, that means this is a good idea.
Yeah, it is.
Because that would be like the butt dial of the year.
Right. Well, I think as soon as we're done with this, we should both butt dial our wives. Butt dial our wives.
The accidental butt dial on purpose.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, good stuff. Good episode. I enjoyed this conversation. Thanks, Ryan, for
Ryan.
sending it in. Thanks for listening to this episode. We'd love it if you would like, rate, subscribe, and share this podcast with others. Know we've got a growing list of ideas, so we'll be back next time to share more with you. If you have an idea you'd like to share, head over to idealistpodcast.com and record your pitch right there on our site. We just may share it and pick it apart on an upcoming episode. So until next time, thanks again for joining The Idealist.